that I want to sacrifice my boy. Then they didn't agree with him. So he took opportunity that when their parents passed away, that I should take this boy to sacrifice him. Then he took that boy 2 weeks ago to Maryland. Then when the people saw him with this boy, they reported to the police. Then someone called her. Then he went there to find her boy.
So he was going to use a witch doctor to sacrifice him to get rewards from the bad spirits, yes?
Then we get pregnant, another pregnant for a new baby. That's his. So he went to her mother-in-law and her sister-in-law. Then he said, yes, I did for 6 children sacrifice in order to get rich. Years of truth, Mount eyes. I saw it with my own eyes. I did. That's why I know.
Hey guys, I was just editing a little footage of an interview I did with a lady who fled her home because her husband was plotting and tried to sacrifice their 4-year-old son in a witch doctor ceremony. And I just felt like recording a little something to put in to say, you know, it's very difficult here to try and convey back to the West what actually goes on. And with it then, it's also a fine line, I feel, because I speak on spiritual matters and hoping that people realizing that what I'm hoping to allow in what I say is to find a way for people to generate more love because the world needs it. And also to have gratitude for the things that have brought forward the minds of many of us inside society to be more civilized and more loving. It is of vast importance that we continue with that. And you should be grateful for all the things that have done it. You know, we complain about organized religion, myself included. I focus on the failings of it, often more than I should on the productive side of it. But if you look to somewhere like Tanzania, when Livingstone first arrived, the first Scottish mission, English missionary who was Scottish actually, when he first brought organized religion here, the tribes were cannibalistic that he met still. And that's all changed thanks to this organized religion. And now, of course, it's becoming polluted, but it's not the religion. It's not the concept, it's the people. It's the human beings expressing it through that avenue that the problem lays within. And that's why I teach what I teach, because when you see the things that I see, you find it hard to compute and you see it in person. So I can't imagine how difficult it is for you guys back home. But my first line of defense is to protect these children as best I can, as God has entrusted me with the duty of doing so, or the task of doing so, or the request of doing so. But the other thing is to try and ensure that I feel anyway, at least I feel from people's messages that I might manage to do that in some way, that people find it in themselves to ensure that they are developing and evolving. Because it happens still in the West as well, that we get these people who get very caught up in their lower selves and they express it in dark, dark ways. We know it. And here it's being expressed with these witch doctors. And if only these men and women as children were taught how to have dominion over their lower nature and to be taught the true morality that is required of us as human beings and not human monsters and human animals as they behave. And it's really hard for me sometimes to sit back and work out, well, what do I speak about today? When you sit and listen to something like that, it's, you know, I want to share positive things and I'll always try my best to, but I should also share my reality because I'm here and people should know why. For instance, I'm urgently rushing around trying to get the children's home built because I want to bring more children in because it's safe from the poverty and the sickness and the neglect, but also nonsense like this. And I just hope I do it justice, because sometimes I worry, like video like this, I'm not sure I should even share. But at the same time, I think, well, I should share what I experience day to day. And I know many people find it hard to believe and hard to grasp it. And many might even switch off before they grasp what I'm trying to talk about. But I've seen this and it's real. And it's messed up. It's really messed up on every level. And you know, I think what light, and by light I refer to all that is good, in that which some of us label as God or light or love. It needs able-bodied people in many senses. It needs healers, it needs inventors, it needs intellectuals, it needs teachers, but it needs warriors as well. And it needs people who, there's a movie and a book called Machine Gun Preacher. I'll let you look at it. It's a true story about a Ugandan man, American man who came to Uganda and fought the Lord's Resistance Army. He was a straight-line Christian, but he was born again after being in a biker gang. And he came here and he killed many, many LRA soldiers. And he did it in God's name. And I wouldn't condone killing, but I wouldn't condemn that man for the protection he gave those children. And I only mention that, I'm not saying I'm going to run off and kill somebody, by the way, just so you know. But there are men and women out there who you wouldn't presume can be of service because of their nature. And unfortunately, they're trying to express these feelings in themselves. And for instance, that term warrior, many men where I'm from, and I wouldn't say so much women actually, it's just not being sexist how it was, many men where I was from in England thought being tough and a tough man meant that you had a fight on a weekend. And I can't think of anything weaker, to be honest, than being drunk and rolling around like a monkey on the street. But this is what they do to try and express that kind of somewhere within our animal nature, within our flesh, which is important. It is the temple of God, that want to be some sort of warrior. And if only they could dominate their lower self, then men and women like that could be of great benefit to the planet. But they are probably the most difficult ones to teach, to awaken, to express it and channel that energy somewhere meaningful and useful. To channel it into God's love and to channel it into the protection of the innocent. And we need it. I see things you won't ever hear about. I've seen things that I actually wished I hadn't seen here. And it's unbelievable to me still that I'm living this. So I can only imagine for you guys that it's 50,000 times more difficult to absorb and to take in what this guy from the northeast of England is telling you is happening. So, this is the interview anyway. God bless, guys. Oh, some of it's pretty intense, so just so you know. God bless. Bye.
She's saying, she is explaining that since her husband planned away, if somebody has love and hope for her wife, he will be back until now to look her. So until now
he don't come. Of course he won't come back because he's not a good man. Yeah, yes. He wants to kill his own child. Then he's not a good man.
Yes.
And she should not worry. She can quite happily. The church would be quite happy for her to find a new husband because he's shaitan. Yeah. This to kill children is shaitani. Obviously the family are involved with shaitani. And I heard now that she's been homeless for a long time and she heard we might help, so she walked here. How long did it take her to get here?
She says that he took 1 month.
So she's been walking, sleeping, working to get food, and it took her 2 months.
Yeah, she was crying for help, but some people help her, some they refuse.
Okay. So she's been homeless for 2 months.
Yes. He says he reported to the police, then the husband ran away.
He ran away because the police found out, yeah? You can tell her that here we protect many children from witch doctors because they want the special needs children. So you're very safe because we have 7 Maasai warriors working every day at night time to make sure no one can come. And we have the security button for the armed men to come. So here, no witch doctors can come. The husband, has he killed any?
Yes.
Yes. The thing, the husband, does she have a picture of him? Or can she get a picture of him from anywhere, back home? If we went with her with security.
Ukienda wewe na yeye na walinzi nyumbani kwako, unaweza kupata picha ya mume wako? Au popote pale kuna picha ya mume wako?
I asked because me and the Maasai would like to find him. Because in Mirani, a lot of the children that they kill are Maasai children. They take them when they're out with the cows and stuff like this, and no one sees them again. So we'd like to find him, but if we don't know what he looks like, we can't find him. So she'd be happy to identify him, yeah? Okay, good, good. Then I will get to work on finding him, because any man who has killed children needs to be stopped before he does it again. Yes. Once they get in, they don't get out. Sawa, pole sana. Mungu akubariki.
That mother was birth 2 children, albinism. That boy, walikuwa wasichana au wavulana? Wasichana. That was coming to school, walking along the road. Then the car left it to the road, then
Kill the children.
Kill the children.
Two albino children.
Yes.
Whose children were they?
That was the poor mother.
Okay, okay.
And then no blood was there, and the children disappeared.
This is
Without knowing where they are. They went.
So yeah, this is a normal thing.
Yes.
For a long time, people believe that the children disappear after you kill them, but that's because the witch doctor will have been driving the car,
Yes.
and when he runs over the children, he'll quickly put them inside the car after he kills them, so as he can take their body parts and sell them to people. So you know the UN, United Nations, they say that they are getting for 1 albino child, million Arabaini. So, for albino moja. Because it's shaitan.
Yeah.
So the children, they don't disappear. The person will run down the child, and then put them in the car quickly to trick you. So everyone says, where's the children gone? And if the mama is very poor, she don't have education, she'll believe that the children are magical. Because even before people knew what was happening, people thought albino children never died, or albino people died, they just disappeared. But that's because for a long time the witch doctors were always taking them. Polisana.
Then that time she was looking somebody to help her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So many children taken away, so much abuse and rape. When will it be high priority to educate and make some real change? I've seen it in communities, so many that it's hard to believe. Elders speaking wisdom far beyond what they choose to teach in history. Young hearts just drinking it away, understanding why the culture was so ashamed, waiting for a reason. What was taken now still hasn't been replaced. My own eyes, I saw it with my own eyes. Did I did, yeah I did. That's why I know this is true. Yeah, it's true. I've seen it down in sacred Tassie, where they're cutting all those big old trees. 44 football fields a day is what they clear, and ain't that hard to believe. And all for the economy, raping country that our children won't see.